What is up? Welcome back to another video. Today's Monday, so let's get into the news. Give a quick shout out to the members of the channel whose lovely names are listed around me here. Remember, if you join the channel, not only do you get this once a week shout out, you also get early access to some videos, exclusive access to other videos, and the opportunity to vote on upcoming reviews that I have on the channel. After this video goes live, I will have a post for the members to vote on the upcoming review for the end of this month. The review that they voted on this past month will be coming out on Friday and or this weekend. If you can join the channel, I definitely appreciate that. If you can't, just like the video if you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future content. I appreciate that support as well. And I also want to give a quick shout out to all of you for subscribing. We passed 7,000 subscribers this past weekend, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Got a few more milestones I'd like to reach this year, so I'm just going to kind of keep the momentum going, but I do want to take a moment and share my appreciation for all of you watching. It does mean a lot. Rolling into the news, we have two big stories, two small stories, and one little update. So we'll start off with the big one, which is Lumo, which is Reveni Labs' Kickstarter project that he launched last week. We're just a few days in because it launched on the 25th. So if you want to check it out on Kickstarter, I'll put the link down below. There's a ton of really detailed information about the project itself. He's done a few Kickstarters now. This is, I believe, his 5th project that he started on there. Someone that I think you should support if you are able to, because not only is he great at creating stuff, but the product itself looks like one of the best or one of the better light meters out there on the market. So I'm very excited to get my hands on that, test it out, make a more thorough review for you guys. But the cliff notes are incredibly accessible, very affordable for what it is, has a lot of good features to it, has a lot of good functionality, different metering ability than other meters out there, instant meter, flash meter, color temperature reader. It'd be perfect for studio setups, either for video or for photography work. I just think overall it really brings a lot of functionality to the table. On top of that, it's an aluminum body, so it's going to be really well built. And then beyond that, it also has a USB-C charging point, so it's not going to be carry more AA, AAA batteries with you. You can just make sure it's charged up and good to go. As with a lot of Reveni Labs projects, I think he really has his mind in the right place. So check it out on Kickstarter, support it if you can. He's already at about 21,000 of the 22,000 goal. So it's very likely that this will be at least 100% funded, if not more, which is really fantastic information there. Then we have another product. This one comes at us from Fuji, and they are developing their Instax lineup. So this is the Fuji Instax Wide Evo. It's a hybrid system. Not only is it meant to function as an instant camera, but it's also meant to double as a printer, which is pretty compelling. I think that's a modern interpretation of instant photography. It does, however, come in at a bit of a higher cost because of the innovation. It's $349 thereabouts, but there's a lot more you can do with it than just a standard Instax Mini or even the Instax Wide. It does have the widest angle lens of all of the Instax lineup, which is kind of nice. You get a little bit more going for you. Has a lot of the standard things like a selfie mirror so you can take self-portraits, has a self-timer as well so you can take portraits of yourself with other people. You also have access to a lot of different effects. You have the effects from the lens, which looks like some kind of like vignetting thing. You can also do different like film overlays, like filters, other overlays, like the cinematic look, which is basically a top and a bottom crop, kind of like what the old plastic point and shoots would do with their panoramic functions, which is just crop in on the existing frame you had. A bit of a scam, but it is kind of cool if you're into that. You can also do a film overlay, which will show 35mm sprockets. Again, this isn't film. I mean, it's instant film. That's just kind of a cosmetic thing, which some people could find fashionable and interesting. Effects themselves, we have the classic sepia tone. We also have some weird overlays that kind of remind me of early Instagram filters. The one benefit I think that this has is there's a element of community to it. If you create a look that you like with the vignetting of the lens effect, with the color overlay, you can create that as like a plugin, share that on the app, and then other people can use that, or you can use other people's and have like some more creative interpretations of how you want to take your photos. So there's an element of creativity and kind of fun built in there, which I think is cool. Fuji is kind of known for their digital plugins of their old film emulsions. It'd be nice to see if they eventually bring that into play with this series, so you can like print out what that shot would look like if you took it with Provia or with Sensia or something like that. If this becomes more popular, I could see that coming about. If this is kind of a one and done project that doesn't get the momentum it needs, it is still kind of cool, and I celebrate the fact that Fuji is still out there making something approximating film things. We've got a bit of a good news bad situation going on for our next two stories. Both are in regards to film production. So I have a penny here that I will use to see good news or bad news. If it lands on heads, we'll do the good news, and if it lands on tails, we'll do the bad news, and then subsequently tell the next story after the first one. But I just don't really know where to start. Like, do you start with the good news and end on the bad news, or do you start with the bad news and end on the good news? I don't know. So I'm not even going to decide. I'm going to let the penny do it for me. All right. Heads. So good news first. I feel like I should have done bad news and then ended on the good news. This is fine. We'll do good news. The good news is the Italian film store that I was in contact with regarding the Ferrania updates sent me a message this past week with a photo of Ferrania P30. And the message was Ferrania is back in production, which was what was outlined in the original text to me, something along the lines of Ferrania is bringing back production soon. It is yet to be clear how long it's going to take for that to reach other markets, notably the North American market here and other markets around the world. Obviously, distribution and stuff like that is another thing to get sorted out that I'm sure they already have figured out. But given that the store is in Italy, they obviously have easier access to that film. So we'll see what that looks like in the coming months, but it is good to know that Ferrania is back in a way. They've got film coming back out, and it should be a few more months before they're fully up and running as per the original messages. So very good news, I think, overall. The bad news, which is not, bad news is a strong word. Not so positive, yet still kind of maybe positive news, as everyone has talked about on the internet. Growing and then dying trend of recanning Kodak motion picture film is really coming to a head here. It was announced last March that that kind of sale was going to be ex-nayed by Kodak themselves, and the effects of that were really felt this past fall time when a lot of companies were having to throw their towel in because they just couldn't keep affording to get it from third-party sources, or there were reliability issues with the sourcing itself. So that kind of leads us with the current layout of Kodak and Cinestill. There's still a few companies left in the mix here and there, and I reached out to one of those, Reflex Labs, just to kind of check in with them, see how they were doing with things. Per the message I received back, they were a little bit surprised because they were under the assumption that this ban was specifically targeting Asia-based manufacturers, Asia-based sellers. But in fact, they were noting that there was a lot of issues that North American-based sellers were having as well as other markets. So they were a little bit surprised that this was affecting other people, but they said that they still have a reasonable supply of film, so they can still sell their stuff. Even if it is going to cost them a little bit more, they're still going to try to keep their price the same, $12.99, because they obviously have sales from their accessory line and then from other film. And then also from my assumption, my interpretation is they're going to be one of the main companies that has access to the Lucky film stock. They have Lucky black and white film for sale on their site. And I assume when the Lucky color film comes out, they will also have that for sale. So I think they will see a big influx of sales just from those numbers. So they're not wholly reliant upon the revenue of their 800 tungsten film lineup. I just think it's very admirable that they acknowledge that, yeah, I mean, the cost is going up for us, but we're going to try to keep that $12.99 the same, because I think looking out at the landscape, that's about the lowest of any of these 800 tungsten, 800T variations that's out there. Cinestill's 800T is $16.49, So this comes in at roughly $3-4 less than that. I don't know the exact math, that's not my strong suit, but I just think that that's very admirable. So if you find yourself in a position where you want to pursue that Cinestill 800 look, I recommend you check out Reflex Labs. I've used their products before. The packaging is great, the experience is great. Considering the current climate, I think it's really cool that they're trying to provide the same experience for the consumer, even if there are some negative impacts on their bottom line. And then moving on to the final bit of news here. I have redesigned the channel a little bit. So if you click on the channel and you're scrolling through, we have the top line, which is the shout out to the members, because I really do appreciate them and all the support that they provide. Then we have just the videos themselves in chronological order. In case you missed any, you can go back and watch through all those if you so choose. Underneath that, we have the shorts, which you can watch or you don't have to watch. I don't blame you either way. Then below that, we'll have the news videos, which are going to be all of these Monday news videos, again, in chronological order. So if you miss one, you can check it out. Or if you're curious what I had to say like a few months ago, you can see it there. Or if you just want to know how poorly some of my opinions and takes have aged, you can check that out as well. And then rub it in my face in subsequent news videos. I appreciate that. And then below that, we'll have the reviews, which are going to be the videos on Friday or over the weekends, reviewing cameras, films, flashes, whatever. And then below that, popular videos. Below that, creative playlists. So pair videos, other walkthrough videos, older videos, stuff like that you can thumb through. If you, for whatever reason, find the desire to listen to my voice droning on into eternity, there are many, many hours of me doing just that. And if you get tired of hearing my voice, no worries. Below that, we'll have my homies' YouTube channel links. So I've got some of my friends that also have YouTube channels that I recommend you check out. We've got John Mock Film. We have my second channel. We've got Taylor, who just started his YouTube channel not too long ago, but he has some really good stuff on there. Taptic Digital, friend of the channel. And of course, we have Salad Mixer, which is another good friend of mine who has some really fun stuff. So check that out if you would like. And that kind of completes the channel overview and brings us neatly into the next segment, the final segment of today's news video, which is the comment of the week. Every week, I receive many comments from people on my videos, and I love reading through them. There's some stuff that's very helpful. Hey, maybe you should mention this. Hey, you forgot this. Hey, maybe you should whatever. Like helpful advice, constructive criticism, I appreciate. There's some stuff that's just confusing and mean and weird. And then there's other things that is just alarming generally and make me fear for my safety. But that's part of being an online presence, I suppose. Now, the comment of the week this week goes out to a username by the name of Hoopty Maximus, whose comment was on the new film camera no one is talking about, which I thought was just a fun video. And it did cost a lot because, again, hiring David Attenborough for a single line has definitely put me quite firmly in a state of bankruptcy, you could call it. But Hoopty Maximus saw that and decided to type out this comment that reads, "I'll never get those 2 minutes and 3 seconds back. WTF ? Joke's on Hoopty Maximus, because I believe the video is somewhere between 2 minutes and 3 seconds and 2 minutes and 4 seconds. So there was at least a few frames in there that they really enjoyed. But beyond that, the only way I can interpret this comment is that they enjoyed the video so much that they wish they could get those 2 minutes and 3 seconds back so they could continue to enjoy the video another time. And to that I say, I appreciate the comment. You can just hit replay. When you're done watching the video, you can just hit replay and it will start it over from the beginning. And you can watch the whole thing again. I do appreciate the comment. It helps with engagement. At the end of the day, if you're like, I really wish I could get that time back that I watched that video, you just watch the video again. And it works out just like that. That concludes the first and possibly last segment of Comment of the Week. Shout out to Hoopty Maximus if you have stuck around to watch my other videos. I appreciate that. If not, thanks for stopping by. But I think that will conclude today's news video. Like I said, not a whole lot to talk about, some stuff to get into, but nothing too crazy. All of the links for everything I discussed are down below. Check out Reveni Labs on Kickstarter. Show him some love there if you can. Check out the Fuji Instax Wide Evo. I don't think it's going to be for everybody, but if you're kind of in the market, or maybe you know somebody who wants to get into photography, maybe this would be an appealing thing for them. It's a little bit steep, but it could be kind of fun. Photo Factory store, go show them some support. They've been super kind and gracious, giving me time, giving me some information to share with all of you. I really appreciate that. And also check out Reflex Labs. If you're looking to buy any kind of 800 tungsten-like film, I would recommend buying from them. Super great, super accommodating, very affordable. They also have a whole lineup of other products if you are in the market. So with all that out of the way, thank you again very much for watching, for your support. I'm very, very grateful for all of you. 7,000 subscribers strong. I feel fantastic about that. I'm looking forward to the future. Shout out again to the members. You guys are fantastic as well. Thank you again for watching. Appreciate it as always. And I will catch you on the next one.